In our journey through life, we are conditioned to believe that we are separate entities, distinct from the universe in which we exist. From a young age, we are taught to exert our willpower to shape our destinies through effort and determination. This conditioning runs deep in modern society, where success is often equated with the ability to control outcomes, to bend reality to our desires. But consider for a moment the teachings of ancient wisdom traditions, where it is understood that the very notion of control is but a fleeting mirage. These traditions invite us to explore a different perspective, one that challenges our ego-driven desire for dominion over our lives. They suggest that just as we cannot control the rising and setting of the sun, we are woven into the tapestry of existence, guided by forces far beyond our comprehension. This insight calls into question the very foundation of our modern worldview, which separates us from the cosmos and portrays us as isolated individuals in an indifferent universe. It challenges us to reconsider our relationship with the world around us, to see ourselves not as separate actors struggling against external forces, but as integral participants in the unfolding drama of existence. Central to understanding the illusion of control is recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. Just as the waves are inseparable from the ocean, so too are we inseparable from the cosmos. This profound insight challenges the very foundation of our ego-driven desire for control, inviting us to embrace our place in the cosmic dance. In the Western world, we often view ourselves as separate, autonomous beings navigating through a universe that exists independently of us. This perspective reinforces the illusion that we are isolated individuals, disconnected from the larger tapestry of life. However, if we shift our perspective to that of Eastern philosophies and indigenous wisdom traditions, a different story emerges, one of interconnectedness and interdependence. Consider the concept of Indra's net from Hindu and Buddhist traditions, where the universe is likened to a vast interconnected web. In this metaphor, every jewel in the net reflects all other jewels, each containing the reflection of the entire cosmos. This imagery beautifully illustrates the interconnected nature of reality, where every action, thought, and event reverberates throughout the entire web of existence. The illusion of the ego, the sense of individuality and separateness that we cling to as a fundamental aspect of our identity. He challenged us to see beyond this illusion, to recognize that our boundaries are porous and permeable, constantly interacting with and influenced by the world around us. To surrender is not to resign oneself to fate, but to embrace the spontaneity and unpredictability of life. It is a profound act of trust in the wisdom of the universe, recognizing that every moment is an opportunity for growth and transformation. In our journey through life, we often encounter moments of resistance, times when we cling tightly to our expectations, desires, and plans. This resistance stems from our fear of the unknown, our desire for security, and our attachment to specific outcomes. True freedom lies not in resisting life's currents, but in surrendering to them. Imagine for a moment the experience of swimming in a river. If you fight against the current, struggling to maintain control, you exhaust yourself and risk being swept away. Yet, if you relax and surrender to the flow, allowing the river to guide you, you effortlessly navigate its twists and turns. When we surrender to the flow of life, we align ourselves with the natural rhythms of existence, allowing events to unfold organically and without force. This concept is central to the Taoist philosophy of Wu Wei, or effortless action. Wu Wei does not advocate passivity or inaction, but rather a harmonious alignment with the Tao, the underlying principle that governs the universe. It teaches us to act spontaneously and authentically, responding to circumstances with grace and ease. Surrendering to the flow of life requires us to release our grip on the illusion of control. It invites us to let go of our attachments to specific outcomes and to trust in the unfolding of events. This does not mean relinquishing responsibility or agency, but rather embracing a mindset of flexibility and adaptability. The profound and ineffable nature of reality that transcends our intellectual grasp, he invites us to contemplate the fundamental questions of existence. Who are we? What is the nature of reality? And how do we find meaning and purpose in our lives? In our quest for understanding, we often rely on logic, reason, and scientific inquiry to unravel the mysteries of the universe. There are limits to what our rational minds can comprehend. The mystery of existence eludes precise definition and categorization, inviting us instead to approach life with a sense of awe and wonder. Each piece represents a fragment of knowledge or experience, yet the whole picture remains elusive. To embrace the incompleteness of our understanding, to recognize that life's mysteries cannot be fully grasped or contained within the confines of our conceptual frameworks. The concept of the self is a construct and illusion created by our minds to navigate the complexities of existence. He challenges us to question our assumptions about identity and to explore the fluidity of our sense of self. When we release our attachment to fixed identities and roles, we open ourselves to the vastness of possibility and potential that exists within and around us. The mystery of existence invites us to embrace paradox and ambiguity, to recognize that life is not a series of neatly resolved equations, but a dynamic and ever-unfolding process. The Chinese yin-yang symbol, to illustrate this principle within the interplay of light and dark, male and female, active and passive, lies a harmonious balance that sustains the cosmos. In our modern world, we are often conditioned to seek certainty and security, to cling to beliefs, ideologies, and identities as anchors in a turbulent sea of uncertainty. Wisdom lies in embracing the inherent uncertainty of life and in surrendering to the mystery that surrounds us. Oneness and unity challenge us to transcend the illusion of separation and recognize our interconnectedness with all of existence. He invites us to explore the profound insight that beneath the surface diversity of life lies a deeper unity, a unity that binds us all together in a cosmic dance of interconnectedness. In our everyday lives, we often perceive ourselves as separate individuals, distinct from each other and from the natural world. This perception reinforces the illusion of isolation and perpetuates feelings of loneliness and disconnection. However, as Alan Watts reminds us, this separation is ultimately illusory, a construct of the mind that obscures the deeper truth of our interconnectedness. Consider the analogy of waves in the ocean. Each wave appears distinct and separate, rising and falling in its own unique pattern. Yet, beneath the surface, all waves are fundamentally made of the same oceanic water. Similarly, beneath the surface diversity of life are different bodies, personalities, and experiences lies a shared essence that unites us all. The human body, to illustrate the concept of unity. He described how each cell in the body performs its unique function, yet all cells are interconnected and interdependent, working together to sustain the health and vitality of the whole organism. In the same way, each of us plays a unique role in the tapestry of existence, yet we are all interconnected parts of a larger whole. The concept of oneness challenges us to transcend the limitations of dualistic thinking, the tendency to categorize the world into opposites such as good and bad, self and other, or right and wrong. Embrace a more holistic and inclusive perspective, one that recognizes the interconnectedness of all life and celebrates the diversity of expression within the unity of existence. When we awaken to the truth of oneness, we cultivate compassion, empathy, and a deep sense of reverence for all beings. We recognize that every action, thought, and emotion reverberates throughout the interconnected web of existence, influencing the collective consciousness of humanity and shaping the future of our planet. Our interconnectedness through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and contemplation. These practices help us transcend the egoic mind and experience a deeper connection with the unified field of consciousness that permeates all of existence. In embracing oneness, we also embrace our responsibility as stewards of the earth and caretakers of future generations. We recognize that the well-being of each individual is intricately linked to the well-being of the whole, and that our actions have far-reaching consequences in the interconnected web of life. In our modern world, the illusion of control permeates every aspect of our lives. From an early age, we are conditioned to believe that success and security come from meticulous planning, relentless effort, and the accumulation of material wealth. We are taught that by exerting our willpower and striving endlessly, we can shape our destinies and secure our happiness. This mentality often leads to a profound sense of anxiety and dissatisfaction. His profound wisdom invites us to question this pervasive illusion. He suggests that our relentless pursuit of control is fundamentally at odds with the nature of life itself. Watts challenges us to consider the nature of the universe, a vast and interconnected web of existence where every action reverberates throughout the whole. In this cosmic dance, he argues, there is no central controller orchestrating every detail. Instead, life unfolds organically, guided by its own inherent rhythms and mysteries. The traditional portrayal of the father as a clown in societal narratives offers a poignant reflection of this illusion. Often depicted as a figure who goes away to a place called work. Separate from the daily life of the family, the father's role is reduced to that of a provider of material wealth. His task is to bring back money, a commodity desired but disconnected from the deeper bonds of family life. In this portrayal, the father becomes a caricature, performing his role mechanically without true engagement in the nurturing of familial relationships. Children, in their innate wisdom, naturally yearn to participate in the meaningful work of their parents. They are drawn to the real activities that adults consider important and fulfilling. Yet, in our industrialized culture, children are often relegated to the sidelines with toys and distractions, denied the opportunity to engage authentically in the lives of their caregivers. This separation perpetuates a cycle where the pursuit of external success eclipses the joy of shared experience and genuine connection. In examining the traditional role of the father as portrayed in societal narratives, the dynamics of family life and societal expectations. Central to this portrayal is the image of the father as a figure who leaves home to venture into a mysterious realm called work. This separation between the domestic sphere, where the family resides, and the external world of economic activity underscores a fundamental disconnect in how we perceive roles and responsibilities within the family unit. Historically, the father's primary role has often been defined by his ability to provide materially for his family. He ventures out into the world to earn money, which is seen as essential for the family's survival and well-being. This duty, while practical, often comes at the cost of emotional and relational engagement within the family. This societal construct, by highlighting how the father becomes relegated to the role of a clown, a superficial performer who fulfills his duty mechanically, without genuine connection to the emotional and developmental needs of his children and partner. The portrayal of the father as a clown reflects a broader societal tendency to prioritize material success over interpersonal relationships and emotional fulfillment. By reducing the father's role to that of a provider of financial resources, we overlook the importance of his presence, emotional support, and active participation in family life. This portrayal perpetuates a cycle where fathers may feel disconnected from their families, viewing their role primarily through the lens of economic utility rather than emotional presence and nurturing. Children, in their innocence and natural curiosity, crave meaningful interaction and engagement with their parents. They are eager to participate in the activities that define adult life, whether it's assisting in household chores, learning about their parents' professions, or simply spending quality time together. The industrialized nature of contemporary life often limits these opportunities for genuine connection. Instead of actively involving children in meaningful activities, we provide them with toys and distractions that simulate adult roles but lack the depth and authenticity of real-life experiences. In exploring the innate yearning of children to participate meaningfully in the lives of their parents, profound insights into the dynamics of familiar relationships and the broader implications for societal norms. Children, with their natural curiosity and eagerness to learn, are drawn to the activities and responsibilities that define adult life. They see their parents engaged in various tasks, whether it's tending to the household, pursuing professional endeavors, or simply interacting with the world, and they long to be part of these meaningful experiences. From a young age, children exhibit a deep-seated desire to contribute and engage actively with their surroundings. This inclination stems not only from a desire to learn practical skills, but also from a fundamental need for connection and belonging within the family unit. Watts emphasizes that children are not passive observers, but active participants in the unfolding drama of family life. They seek opportunities to learn, grow, and develop alongside their parents, eager to understand the complexities of adulthood and to contribute in meaningful ways. The industrialized nature of contemporary society often limits these opportunities for authentic engagement. As families become increasingly compartmentalized, with parents venturing into separate spheres of work and domestic life, children may find themselves relegated to the periphery. Instead of actively involving children in the day-to-day responsibilities and challenges of adult life, we often provide them with superficial substitutes such as toys, games, and electronic devices that simulate adult roles but lack the depth and authenticity of real-world experiences. Modern education challenges us to reconsider the fundamental purpose and approach of our educational systems. He highlights the pervasive disconnect between traditional schooling and the lived experience of children, emphasizing the need for a more holistic and experiential approach to learning. From a young age, children are thrust into a structured educational environment where they are expected to conform to standardized curricula, excel in standardized tests, and prepare for future careers that may or may not align with their passions and interests. This approach, rooted in industrial-era paradigms, prioritizes academic achievement and vocational readiness over the holistic development of the individual. This compartmentalization of learning stifles creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking skills. By focusing narrowly on academic subjects and standardized assessments, we neglect the broader dimensions of human experience, such as emotional intelligence, interpersonal skills, and personal growth that are essential for navigating life's complexities. The emphasis on preparation for future success perpetuates a mindset of living for the future rather than experiencing the richness of life in the present moment. Children are conditioned to view learning as a means to an end, a pathway to achieving external markers of success, such as high grades, prestigious careers, and financial stability. In doing so, they may overlook the intrinsic value of knowledge, curiosity, and personal growth for their own sake. The intricate dynamics between parents, society, and children, shedding light on the profound impact of societal expectations and parental roles on child development. He challenges conventional notions of parenting and societal norms, advocating for a deeper understanding of children's innate needs and the importance of fostering authentic relationships within the family unit. The concept of societal conditioning, the subtle yet pervasive influence of cultural norms, values, and expectations on individuals from a young age. He argues that children are socialized into predefined roles and expectations, shaped by societal constructs that dictate what it means to be successful, responsible, and worthy. Parents, as primary caregivers and role models, play a pivotal role in transmitting these societal norms to their children. They often navigate a delicate balance between nurturing their children's individuality and preparing them to conform to societal expectations. Watts critiques the notion that parents should solely focus on preparing their children for future success, suggesting instead that they prioritize cultivating meaningful relationships and fostering a sense of belonging and emotional security within the family unit. The inherent complexity of parenting in a rapidly changing world, where traditional roles and family structures are continually evolving. He challenges parents to re-examine their own beliefs and behaviors, encouraging them to embrace authenticity, vulnerability, and open communication in their interactions with their children. The concept of unconditional love, a love that transcends societal expectations and nurtures the inherent worth and dignity of each child. He argues that parents can best support their children's growth and development by providing a nurturing and supportive environment where they feel valued, understood, and accepted for who they are. Let us embark on a profound exploration of time, a concept that shapes our perception of reality in ways both subtle and profound. Time, as I often contemplate, is not a fundamental aspect of the natural world. It is instead a social institution and abstraction created by human minds to measure and control the rhythms of life. In the vast cosmos of stars, waters, mountains, and living organisms, there exists rhythm, biological processes, tides, the ebb and flow of life itself. These are the true rhythms of existence, not the ticking of clocks or the marking of calendars. When we forget that time is a convention, we begin to take it seriously. We say time is money or time is of the essence. We live in a culture where we are driven by time, by deadlines, appointments, and schedules. We become so absorbed in these constructs that we forget their arbitrary nature. We invest our emotions in them, anxiously awaiting the next event or accomplishment, incapacitated until it occurs. But what if we could see through this illusion? What if we could understand that time, like language or measurement, is a tool and abstraction that helps us navigate the world, but not something to be taken too seriously? It is through this understanding that we can begin to let go of our need to control every moment of our lives. Control is a captivating illusion, a shimmering mirage in the desert of existence. From the moment we enter this world, we are taught to grasp for control, to believe that if we hold tightly enough, we can shape our destinies and secure our futures. Yet, the more we grasp, the more elusive it becomes. Life has its own currents, its own rhythms, and trying to control it is like trying to grasp the wind or contain the ocean tides within a cupped hand. In our quest for control, we often forget the fundamental nature of life as a cosmic play, a dance of forms and energies. From infancy, we are assigned roles and identities, told who we are supposed to be. We build up these identities, these personas, investing our emotions and energies into maintaining them. But in the end, they are like props on a stage, fading, transient, subject to the inevitable passage of time. The irony of control is that the more we seek it, the more we realize its futility. Life unfolds according to its own rhythm, not our dictates. We may make plans, set goals, and strive for achievements, yet we are constantly reminded of the unpredictable nature of existence. Events unfold, circumstances change, and the unexpected becomes our constant companion. Particularly in Taoism and Zen Buddhism, There is a profound wisdom about the nature of control. These traditions invite us to contemplate the concept of emptiness or non-self, the understanding that our identities, desires, and attachments are ultimately illusions. They are constructs of the mind, transient and ever-changing. To truly understand control, we must first understand the nature of attachment. Attachment arises when we identify ourselves with our desires, possessions, and roles. We cling to them as if they define us, afraid to let go for fear of losing ourselves. But what if true liberation lies in letting go of these attachments? What if we could release our grip on identity and embrace the fluidity of existence? The profound wisdom of embracing the flow of life, an essential aspect of letting go of control. Life, as I often contemplate, is like a river, a continuous flow of experiences, challenges, and moments of beauty. Yet, so often we find ourselves resisting this flow, clinging to the banks in fear of the unknown waters ahead. In the teachings of Eastern philosophies, particularly in Taoism, there is a concept known as Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-doing. Wu Wei does not imply inaction or passivity, but rather a harmonious alignment with the natural flow of life. It is about acting spontaneously and intuitively, without the ego's need to impose control or force outcomes. A leaf floating downstream on a gentle river. The leaf does not struggle against the current or try to alter its course. It simply allows itself to be carried by the flow of the water, trusting in the river's wisdom to guide it where it needs to go. Wu Wei invites us to trust in the inherent wisdom of life, to surrender our need to control, and instead align ourselves with its natural rhythms. The profound art of surrender, a cornerstone of letting go of control and embracing the wisdom of life's unfolding journey. Surrender, as I often contemplate, is not an act of defeat or resignation, but rather a profound act of courage and trust in the natural flow of existence. In our journey through life, we encounter countless situations that challenge our sense of control. We face unexpected obstacles, unforeseen changes, and moments of uncertainty. Our instinctual response may be to resist, to fight against these currents in an attempt to regain a sense of stability and order. Yet it is in these moments of surrender that we discover a deeper truth, that true strength lies in letting go. The concept of surrender is beautifully illustrated in the teachings of Taoism and Zen Buddhism. Taoist philosophy speaks of Wai Wu Wei, the action of non-action, or effortless action. It encourages us to align ourselves with the natural flow of life, trusting in the innate intelligence of the universe to guide us. Zen Buddhism teaches the practice of letting go or non-attachment, urging us to release our grip on desires and expectations. The image of a sailboat navigating the open sea. The sailor cannot control the wind or the waves, but they can adjust the sails and steer the vessel in harmony with the elements. Likewise, surrender is about aligning ourselves with the currents of life, adapting and flowing with grace and ease. The heart of letting go of control, exploring the profound wisdom of embracing unity with life itself. At the core of our human experience lies a fundamental illusion, the illusion of separation. From a young age, we are conditioned to perceive ourselves as separate entities, distinct from the world around us. We identify with our thoughts, emotions, and physical bodies, believing them to be the entirety of our existence. Particularly Taoism and Zen Buddhism offer us a different perspective, a perspective rooted in the understanding of unity and interconnectedness. They invite us to transcend the illusion of separation and recognize our inherent unity with all of existence. This recognition is not merely intellectual but experiential, a profound shift in consciousness that transforms how we perceive ourselves and our place in the world. In Taoism, there is a concept known as the Tao, often translated as the way or the path. The Tao is the underlying principle of the universe, the source from which all things arise and to which all things return. It is the natural order of life, the rhythm and flow that permeates every aspect of existence. To align with the Tao is to harmonize with the natural flow of life, surrendering the ego's need to control, and allowing oneself to be guided by the innate wisdom of the universe. Zen Buddhism teaches the concept of interdependence or dependent origination. This teaching emphasizes that all phenomena is in dependence on multiple causes and conditions. Nothing exists in isolation, everything is interconnected and interdependent. The illusion of separateness, therefore, is a fundamental misunderstanding of reality, one that causes suffering and discord. Standing by the shore of a vast ocean, you observe the waves crashing against the rocks, each wave distinct yet inseparable from the ocean itself. The ocean represents the unity of life, the interconnected web of existence in which we are all deeply embedded. Our individual identities, like waves on the ocean's surface, arise and dissolve within the greater whole. To embrace unity with life is to transcend the limitations of the egoic mind and recognize our interconnectedness with all beings and phenomena. It is to realize that the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and the world are illusory, that in truth we are expressions of the same universal consciousness, experiencing itself through myriad forms. In our modern society, the illusion of separation manifests in various forms: individualism, competition, and the relentless pursuit of personal gain. We are conditioned to believe that success and happiness come from asserting our individuality and achieving external goals. Yet this pursuit often leads to feelings of isolation, alienation, and discontentment. The wisdom of letting go of control invites us to transcend this illusion of separation and embrace unity with life. It challenges us to shift from a mindset of me to we, from self-centeredness to interconnectedness. When we recognize our unity with all beings, we cultivate compassion, empathy, and a sense of belonging that transcends individual desires and ambitions. To embody unity with life is to live in alignment with the Tao, to flow effortlessly with the currents of existence, trusting in the inherent wisdom and intelligence of the universe. It is about letting go of the ego's need to dominate and control, and instead surrendering to the natural rhythms of life. Let us embark on a journey to unravel the very fabric of control. In our lives, we often perceive ourselves as separate, distinct entities navigating through a world that seems chaotic and unpredictable. From an early age, we are taught to plan, to shape outcomes according to our desires, to believe that our will can carve a path through the uncertainties of existence. Yet, as we grasp tighter onto this illusion of control, we often find ourselves more entangled in the complexities of life. Reconsider this fundamental assumption. He suggests that the universe operates not as a series of separate, controllable events, but as a vast interconnected web of energies and rhythms. You can't control the world, you can only just barely control your own body. This perspective challenges our deeply ingrained belief in separation, the idea that we are distinct and independent from the world around us. Imagine for a moment that you are not a solitary figure battling against the tides of life, but a whirlpool within a vast stream, a unique pattern in the ever-flowing currents of existence. This analogy mirrors where he often likened life to a symphony, with each individual note contributing to the whole. The whole universe, he observed, is doing its stuff. Our quest for control arises from a primal fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing stability in a world that seems ever-changing. We build walls of thoughts and desires, hoping to shield ourselves from the uncertainties that life presents. To see beyond this illusion of separateness. We do not come into this world, he remarked. We come out of it, as leaves from a tree. Imagine yourself as a whirlpool within a vast stream, a unique pattern in the ever-flowing currents of existence. This analogy cherished to reconsider our perception of individuality. We often perceive ourselves as isolated beings, separate from the world around us? From early childhood, we are taught to assert control, to carve out our place in a seemingly chaotic universe. Kentley reminds us you are a function of what the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. In the tapestry of existence, everything is interconnected, a seamless flow of energy where each thread influences the whole. Liken life to a symphony, where every note, every pause contributes to the beauty of the composition. The whole universe, he observed, is doing its stuff. This perspective challenges our deeply ingrained belief in separation, the idea that we are distinct and independent entities navigating through life. In Taoist philosophy, there exists a concept known as Wu Wei, often translated as non-doing or effortless action. This principle does not advocate passivity, but rather aligning oneself with the spontaneous rhythm of nature. Eloquently captured, this essence to a faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. The Tao, in its infinite wisdom, flows effortlessly, nurturing all things without the need for forceful intervention. Nature does not hurry. Everything is accomplished. This principle invites us to release our grip on control and surrender to the natural unfolding of life. It challenges our ego's insistence on shaping outcomes according to personal desires, encouraging us to trust in the inherent intelligence of the universe. To embrace Wu Wei is to dance with the currents of existence, to flow with the ever-changing rhythms of life. Watts often used the analogy of dancing to describe this harmonious relationship with the Tao. Just as you let the water wave and the sea rises and falls, you have to go on rising and falling in your own life. In Taoist philosophy, there exists a profound concept known as Wu Wei, often translated as non-doing or effortless action. This principle embodies the essence of letting go of control and aligning oneself with the natural flow of existence. Alan Watts, deeply influenced by Eastern wisdom, illuminated this principle with clarity and insight. Wu Wei does not advocate passivity or inaction, but rather emphasizes a state of harmonious spontaneity. To have faith, to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. This metaphor encapsulates the essence of Wu Wei, to surrender to the currents of life without resistance, to trust in the innate wisdom of the Tao. Central to Taoist thought is the understanding that nature operates effortlessly, without the need for forceful intervention. Nature does not hurry. Everything is accomplished. This principle invites us to release our grip on control and embrace the natural unfolding of events. It challenges our ego's desire to impose order and predictability upon a world that is inherently unpredictable. The concept of Wu Wei can seem counterintuitive. We are conditioned to believe that success and fulfillment come from relentless striving and meticulous planning. A different perspective, one that invites us to pause, to listen to the rhythms of life, and to flow with the Tao. The more we try to catch hold of it, he cautioned, the more it slips through our fingers. From the perspective of Wu Wei, or non-doing, we begin to see that our actions ripple through the web of life, influencing the larger whole. The analogy of a symphony to describe this interconnectedness, where every note contributes to the harmony of the composition. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing, he reminded us, in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. This perspective challenges our conventional understanding of separateness, the belief that we are isolated entities navigating through a chaotic world. Instead, beyond the illusion of individuality, and recognize our integral role within the cosmic dance. We do not come into this world, he reflected, we come out of it, as leaves from a tree. Central to Taoist philosophy is the principle of embracing the Tao the natural way of life that unfolds effortlessly and spontaneously. Nature does not hurry. Everything is accomplished. This principle invites us to release our grip on control and trust in the inherent intelligence of the universe. In our modern society, the concept of letting go can seem daunting. We are conditioned to believe that success and fulfillment come from striving and exerting effort. Different perspective, one that invites us to surrender to the natural flow of existence. The more we try to catch hold of it, he cautioned, the more it slips through our fingers. The transformative power of embracing the interconnectedness of all beings. Drawing from Taoist principles and his deep understanding of the human experience, illuminates how our perception of separateness can obscure the underlying unity of existence. The whole universe, what's observed, is doing its stuff. From the perspective of Wu Wei, or non-doing, to recognize that our actions, thoughts, and emotions are not isolated occurrences, but integral threads in the tapestry of life. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing. He reminds us in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. In our daily lives, we often perceive ourselves as distinct individuals, separate from the world around us. This illusion of separateness can lead to feelings of isolation, competition, and fear. Transcend this limited perception and embrace a broader understanding of interconnectedness. This metaphorical insight invites us to see beyond our individuality and recognize our inherent connection to all beings. Just as each leaf is an expression of the tree's vitality, each of us is an expression of the universe's unfolding energy. Central to Taoist philosophy is the principle of harmonizing with the Tao, the natural flow of life that unfolds effortlessly and spontaneously. Nature does not hurry. Everything is accomplished. This principle invites us to release our grip on control and trust in the inherent intelligence of the universe. By embracing the interconnectedness of all beings, we cultivate a sense of compassion and empathy. We begin to see that our well-being is intricately linked to the well-being of others and the planet as a whole. This awareness fosters a spirit of unity and cooperation, transcending barriers of nationality, ethnicity, and ideology.